PJ's top 5, everyone. I know you've been waiting for this. Number 5, Sauce Gardner. Number 4, Ikem Ekwonu.
Okay.
Number 3, Aiden Hutchinson.
Oh.
Number 2, Kayvon Thibodeau. He's been on that train.
Okay, and then 1.
And then number 1 is Kyle Hamilton.
All right.
Which he has been on since.
Listen, I mean, the Lions are taking Thibodeau.
He's been on that
right
longer than, like,
Anyway.
I've been on here.
The Lions. Welcome to another episode of Boom or Bust the Draft Show. Max Chadwick alongside Nick Merriam and Donny Clemons. So this is an episode that involves you guys a lot. And this is our reacting to your hot takes video. Obviously, you guys have suffered through our hot takes for a year now, literally a year now, and you're probably sick of them. So we wanted to hear some of your hot takes in the 2022 NFL Draft. So you sent us we have a lot. We have a lot of submissions.
There were so many. Like I legit spent like at least a good 30 minutes reading through them.
Yeah,
like at minimum, like at minimum, like
a lot. It was awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot, which we appreciate, by the way. Like every single person, we appreciate you commenting. Like every single one of you. I'm sorry we can't get to all of you guys. We just had a lot of comments, but we appreciate you guys commenting. Like I just want to let you know, if you commented something, I can promise you I read it.
Yes. For sure. So, listen, we're going to try to react to as many as we can. But before we do, please like, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. Be sure to follow our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Boomer Bust Draft. Also, like once again, we're doing a live draft show. I, unfortunately, will not be on it, but Donnie and Nick are both doing a live draft show, which is going to be awesome. I can't wait to watch it. So make sure you guys tune in for that and subscribe to the channel because that is going to be really, really fun. It's going to be a really interesting NFL draft.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the draft. Yeah.
Turn on notifications. It's going to be awesome. So follow us TikTok, Twitter, Instagram at Boomer Bust Draft, YouTube anywhere you get your podcasts, and also like and subscribe. And check out the merch store. And make sure you check out our good friends at WinView because they are the new way to bet on sports and the best thing to happen to sports since fantasy. And you're going to want to get WinView with all the draft props that will be coming out very soon. There's been a lot of draft props already. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a weird draft to bet on. You can maybe make some money in this draft because of how weird it is. If you really have an inkling on it, and some of your hot takes are coming to play here. But so get the WinView app. Make sure you use a link that is in the pinned comment or in the description to use it and put some money in there, risk some cheddar, and win some cheddar as well with WinView. All right, so we're going to try to read off as many as possible with this video. So I can't wait to get so many of your opinions on this because I truly think it's going to be interesting to see how much variance there is in this class. So the first one from Brady Watermeyer on TikTok is Alec Pierce is a top 10 wide receiver in this class. I don't think so.
I agree.
I don't think so. I don't think Pierce, he's wide receiver like 16, 17 for me.
Oof.
I'm not a huge fan of Alec Pierce at all. He's an athletic freak, but I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of his tape when I watched it.
I'm a huge fan. He's big. He's tested way better than I thought he would. Like, he's one of the most athletic wide receivers at the combine. I think his tape is good. Like, he has great hands. He can make great contested catches. Like, yeah, the competition level is the question mark, and he didn't dominate the Senior Bowl, so I'll give him credit there. But I think his skill set is so good. The only question I have, really, is just expand the route tree, which is shockingly, that's a lot of wide receivers in this draft. So... yeah. I think, and that's really my only question. And also, yes, he never dominated in college, which he is playing cupcakes, I guess, and he's not really dominating. So that's also a question mark.
Yeah, he plays like a fast, small tight end. Like, I don't know. He's a weird one. I don't know. We just had a discussion about ceilings off camera before this. I don't know how high his ceiling is, even though he's a great athlete.
That's fair.
I don't like the early second round thing you see, and I think he's more of a mid-third round guy. I have him close to a top 10 receiver. I have him a wide receiver 13. I like him. I do. I don't know. I don't know. I think he was more helped by having Desmond Ridder than the other way around.
Yeah, I have him as a late third round pick right now. I think he's very stiff as a route runner. So there's a limited route tree, and even if he gets an expanded route tree, I don't even know how good of a route runner he'll be there. So I'm a little concerned about that. Next one from our good friend Nico from Elite Takes. Love Nico. Breece Hall is a first rounder, is his take.
So Nico's absolutely in love with running backs, and just be prepared for his Bijan Robinson takes because they're not going to be fun. If there was one running back over the past 3 years that should be a first-round pick, these guys disagree. I think it's Breece Hall. He has the highest grade I've given out to a running back since Saquon Barkley. And I think if any team's going to take him, hey, if the Bills want to take him and they don't love any of the cornerbacks that are left, go on ahead, man.
I don't know,
Nick and I are in the same boat here.
I kind of have ended up having very similar grades for every running back the past 3 years since I've started grading. Breece Hall is kind of in that tier 2 of like great. I like him a lot. I mean, like of the guys I've given like a high second to, like, so the only 2 players I've given like a really a first second grade to are Jonathan Taylor and Javonte Williams. So I mean, like, Breece is right there, but I just, in a weak draft class, like, I guess like I wouldn't hate it as much as like say a Clyde Edwards-Helaire pick or the Najee Harris pick last year.
Man.
But again, like, it's just the way contracts are going and how long these guys play. It just makes no sense to be spending your first round picks on a running back.
It doesn't make any sense. The positional value, which again should be a major factor in any value. I have Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker like late second round right now because it's difficult. It's difficult for you to provide value to a team when, you know, it's so reliant on scheme, it's so reliant on offensive line, and it's just a position that just doesn't last very long. It's proven time and time again. You can get quality players day 3 or later. Like, it's honestly absurd. All right, another one that I love this one. This seems like a take from 5 years ago or 4 years ago, but Justin Ross is a top 5 receiver in this class. I don't agree with that.
Can he be one?
No.
Yes.
No. I don't think
I think he could. He could.
I think he could.
Very well could be. You unlock that 2018 Justin Ross, and he could be. Am I going to bet on it happening? Absolutely
Here's the thing.
not.
He had spinal surgery since
Yeah.
2018. Ross.
And I understand that. But
he
didn't look terrible. He didn't look terrible on tape. He really didn't.
DJ did not give him any favors.
DJ gave him negative favors.
I understand that. I don't think there's a chance he's a top 5 receiver. Also, he was just a bad athlete. Like, way worse than I expected him to. Like 26th percentile. Like, I don't know. Justin Ross, I loved his 2018 tape. It's kind of contradictory for me to say that and also say Stingley's the best corner in the class, but like Stingley didn't have nearly the really like dangerous injuries. Justin Ross, it's tough. It's
near career ending.
Yeah, it's like Carson Strong for you to say like, oh, Carson Strong's going to be QB1. That's like, for me again, it's like maybe, I don't know. Justin Ross, I don't know. I'm not gonna say there's no chance he can be, but I can't get on board with that. All right, another one. The combine and pro day is just getting to know the player's skills. Draft stock should never be affected by those days, and it should be based off of tape.
So I think people definitely overuse it sometimes, to say the least. Like, that's true. But there is situations where it definitely does matter because there's more to combine than, and we know this, like, there's more to combine than just the workouts. Like, there's the interviews, and then there's, like, the interviews with the teams, and interviews with the media. Like, that stuff matters more than people realize. So
and I actually think the interviews for teams are more important. They think the media believes that the workouts matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It is. What I will say, though, is that it does matter a little bit because there are, you can only glean so much of athleticism off of tape. So it is helpful to have a number to it. But if you're, massively moving guys up and down because of a combine, like that's where you start to get some problems. So it should definitely be a factor. And for you to say it's not a factor, I can't agree with. But for some people, Trayvon Walker, where it's the only factor, that's where I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. All right, another one. I completely am on board. There's a lot of them I disagree with. This one I love. I don't think any quarterback from Droop Snoot 10. I don't think any quarterback in this class should start as a rookie. Yeah.
Pickett can. Like, he's not going to be Pickett can.
I wouldn't start him. I don't know. I don't like any of them as a rookie.
I wouldn't want to start.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
is the question should or want?
Should. Like, should. Meaning, like, what do you want them to? I don't want any of these guys starting as rookies.
I mean, Trey Lance didn't start last year. You know, like Justin Fields didn't start last year.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
okay, well, Justin Fields gets drafted anywhere else, he starts.
Probably, but what I'm saying is like, it's like I think even like very good quarterback prospects, you don't necessarily want to throw them in immediately. Patrick Mahomes didn't start, you know, year one. Unfortunately, we didn't really know about that as much, but it was Deshaun Watson to Baltimore didn't start, you know,
Lamar
like
Jackson, yeah.
So Lamar Jackson didn't start, you know, it's. I think it's important for those guys to kind of sit and wait and learn a little bit if you can help it.
If you can, yeah.
Because none of these guys are really great, I think it's very clear that any of them.
I mean,
but teams are desperate, you know, and probably somebody.
Whoever Carolina takes is starting day one if they're taking a quarterback at 6. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, another one. So this one I agree with, but Jordan Davis is not worth the top from Greg Roman is awful. I don't agree with that. But Jordan Davis isn't worth a top 20 pick. It is nothing more than a big nose tackle. This I don't think he's not worth a top 20 pick. We all can agree with that. Yeah. What I will say though is that the people who say that, you know, oh, just because he's on a pass rusher and all that, Snacks Harrison, who was like the quintessential nose tackle who just all he did was defend the run. He was like one of the best run defenders that we had in the NFL. And like he at his peak for like a good 5 years was like a top 10 D tackle. If you're getting a top 10 D tackle, that is probably worth a top 20 pick. But it's whether or not Jordan Davis will become a Damon Harrison-esque run defender. Mm-hmm. That's the only way I could see him being worth that. But I agree. I wouldn't take him in the top 20.
Yeah. I mean, Harrison didn't really last super long either.
No. But like a top 10, if you're getting a top 10 D tackle, which is really what the best run defender would be, but I don't know. Jermaine Johnson from J. Ocon. Jermaine Johnson becomes the best edge from this class. I don't know.
I don't like takes like this. Like, okay, what are we? Is he gonna go to like Pittsburgh? You know, like he probably does. Like, you know, like I think if Arnold Ebiketie ends up with a good pass rushing coach, he can end up being the best.
It's like, scheme. It's just it's all scheme.
It's all scheme.
Whoever goes to Baltimore is going to be the best pass rusher in this class. You know,
I shout out ODFL.
Look, I can tell you right now, I will know how Malik Willis will be in the NFL depending on where he goes. If he goes to the Steelers, I'm buying all the Malik Willis stock. If he goes to Carolina, he's going to be a bust. It's just
so dependent.
What if he goes to Detroit, Max?
I think he's got a shot, but I don't think I would take him. I don't think I would take that shot with the number 2 pick. But
players don't bust, teams bust.
Teams bust, exactly. Max Jones, I knew was going to be great.
Isaiah Wilson does exist.
Okay, well, you know, do you have any predictions for some Isaiah Wilsons in this draft class, Donnie? Because I'd like to hear them.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. All right, Roundup Sports, who we love on TikTok. He's got a pretty big account. He's great. Christian Watson, he commented, is debatably a top 3 wide receiver prospect in this draft. I feel like Donnie, who's friends with him, I feel like you paid him to say this.
I knew you were gonna say that too. A little rich for my taste, but
ceiling of a
ceiling wise. I mean, if we're talking ceiling, oh wait, is he saying the top 3 ceiling?
No, debatably a top 3 wide receiver prospect.
Okay, then that I don't agree with, but I think it's closer than these guys think, obviously. But would I put him in there? I can see an argument for 4. I think I can. I can see an argument. I know Max is going to completely disagree.
Where do you have him, Don?
I have him 5. I have him wide receiver 5, and I think.
I like these wide receivers, so I have him 10. But he's
same. I have 10 too. All right,
he's a top 40 player for me.
Awful.
I have 10. Yeah, wide receiver 10.
But no,
10 receivers in my top 39.
I think I know Max is going to get really upset. Probably. I think he has an argument over Treylon Burks. I think he does. I know you have a wide receiver 1, so I know you'll disagree. But I'm not as high on Burks as you. I still think Burks is great.
Burks is better tape in the SEC than Watson as an FCS.
That's the thing that gets me is that Watson's playing.
But when you look at the traits, Watson's traits are better.
That's just I know, but that again,
this is
doing the combine thing. This is what we're doing again with like the trade.
I understand this, but he went to the Senior Bowl and was the best offensive player
Donnie,
there.
You look at those corners in the Senior Bowl, dude. It is nobody's. I mean, I was.
Hey, it's better than what North Dakota State is playing.
I agreed, but like at the same time, it's like man.
I'm just saying, like, at the Senior Bowl, he showed the ability that he can expand his route tree, and he did it against, yes, it wasn't great competition, but it was better than what it was.
Yes, but it wasn't SEC competition either, though.
No, and you're right, and that's why I have Burks over him. I'm not saying I take Christian Watson over him. I'm just saying, like, if there's a debate, I mean, I think there is.
The most positive view of Christian Watson is that he's DK Metcalf, except for he didn't have the competition against him. Metcalf for me was, I think, like player 20 on my board. So Watson's player 39.
DK also had the injuries.
Yeah, I think Watson. I see so much Marquez Valdez-Scantling with him, which is like this big athletic receiver who just doesn't know how to go at the catch point. And it's just like drop issues are just a big issue. And it's route running. I mean, Valdez-Scantling was a freak athlete too. He's fine. He's not great, not bad, but
I think the Niners, if they're replacing Debo, I think Christian Watson would just be so good in that role.
Yeah.
Just give him the ball.
Nick, you're going to love this one from Jor Goat Love. He says, Arnold Ebiketie greater than signed Trayvon Walker.
So I actually have Walker, although they're the same grade, slightly ahead of Ebiketie on my board.
Yeah, I'm lower than Ebiketie than most people.
But you know what? I'm all here for it because I do think day one, like you absolutely want Ebiketie starting for you over Trayvon Walker. Yeah, I mean, we've had these discussions. Like Trayvon Walker, it's an athleticism thing only. It's like we've never seen an edge player with a 99th percentile athleticism before, which we have. Heck, Amari Bardo is like amazing athleticism, but he's not going number one. So I mean, it's just like
the 100th percentile. It's funny because like he's tied with Myles Garrett being 99.9. But the 100th percentile, I looked it up. Oh, God, what was his name? I got to look it up now. He was like a 7th-round pick who was like on a practice squad.
Great,
So,
yeah,
like it was from a guy from Gardner Webb.
I will say there were some things from Walker I liked on the interior, but not that. Like he's playing a new position as far as I'm concerned when he gets to the NFL. So if you want to trust that at pick one, go ahead. But I'm not.
Brian Johnston was the guy's name from 2008 Gardner Webb coming out.
Great.
What a school.
What a school. Noah Sharp 5 says on Instagram, Colts trade into the first round and draft a receiver. I think they are
could happen.
They're one of the teams I am keeping an eye on for Deebo Samuel. For sure. They have a very good relationship with the 49ers too, with getting Armstead in there. They need a receiver. I could see them, trying to get Deebo Samuel. I believe right now the 48th pick, right? They don't have a first round pick.
42.
No, shout out Carson Wentz. Yeah. Shout out Carson Wentz for that. But no, they have a second, and then they have a third, and then they have all their picks next year. So you think? I don't know if that's enough unless you give up a pick next year.
No, you're gonna have to. Yeah, you're gonna have to give up a first next year.
But the thing is, are the Niners gonna want to accept a pick for next year?
If you give up 42 and a 2023 first.
Maybe
like that's tough because they're gonna be a good team.
It's weird.
I don't know.
But no, like them trading into the first, like I don't think it's completely out of the question. We haven't heard much about it, but it makes sense.
Yeah,
it does make sense a little bit.
What receiver do you think they would target? I think Chris Olave would fit them really.
Chris Olave would fit absolutely.
If they're thinking about replacing T.Y. Hilton, I think they like big physical guys.
Burks will be hot with Pittman.
Yeah, Burks could be the guy. I think George Pickens probably.
Seems like a lot of teams like George Pickens more than the media.
Oh, speaking of, Shag Sports Talk has one that says George Pickens greater sign Drake London.
There was another day. Who's the guy? Oh my God, what's his name? Is it Greg Cosell? I don't know. I think it was him. Was saying today he had Pickens wide receiver 1 in this draft class. There's some Pickens love out there. I don't know. Like I could see it. I really like. If he's fully healthy, like all right. It's just like the guy didn't play a full season.
Once.
Like,
great athlete. I'm a big fan of George. Nico, I know, loves George Pickens. Nico, I think has that take too of him over London. All right, this one I hate. Last one for Christian Watson. I promise, but he says Christian Watson will be the best receiver in this class. Verk T, who's a big fan of TikTok, I love him, will be the best receiver in this class when it's all said and done if he gets drafted to the Chiefs.
I agree. I've been saying this for the longest
time.
That's
tough.
My favorite.
Can we go down the list of receivers?
Can I just say this? Can I just say this real quick? My favorite player to scheme fit in this draft. I think a close second is Nakobe Dean to the Patriots, but my most favorite player to scheme fit in this entire draft is Christian Watson to the Chiefs. If anybody is going to unlock that potential that Christian Watson has, it's Patrick Mahomes, who's the greatest quarterback of all time, and it's going to be Andy Reid. He's not the greatest, but you get what
Speaking of hot takes, we're just throwing out Pat Mahomes as the GOAT quarterback.
I meant to say most talented. Sorry, the most talented.
Okay, all right.
Hey, man, I mean, if Josh Johnson ends up, who's the guy from Tulsa who I have a 4th-round grade on, ends up in Kansas City, there's a chance that, him or, Kevin Onstead Jr. ends up. Dude, the Chiefs just, crank him out. I don't – great. Okay, if this receiver plays with Patrick Mahomes, he might be good. Great. Okay. Moving.
Listen, man, Christian Watson is the highest ceiling of any receiver in the draft. I think we can agree on that.
I think the ceiling, yeah, but again, the ceiling thing I think is we're just putting only athleticism as ceiling, which is tough. I don't know. I think
he shows flashes.
He shows flashes. He shows Debo flashes.
I actually think there's an argument for Pickens.
I was just going to say Pickens.
If you say Pickens has a higher ceiling than Watson, I'm okay with that. I think
Pickens would be the guy. I would
take Watson, but it's close.
I could see Jameson Williams being like a Tyreek Hill light too in the NFL. So I don't know.
I see DJX.
And I hate to be throwing that out there again, but I could see Traylon Burks being a Debo type receiver. AJ Brown more likely in the NFL. But that's
more AJ Brown,
personal opinion. Athleticism obviously was not as good as we thought for him. Okay. So Philly Eagles season says Linderbaum might not be a first-round pick because he's an undersized center. He might not be a first-round pick. I think that's less likely now. I think all the odds.
Yeah, it feels like it's less likely. There's more reports about teams liking him. I genuinely believe at this point, I think his ceiling is higher than what I thought. At first, I thought his ceiling was to the Vikings. I think his ceiling might be to Seattle. I think his ceiling is Seattle at 9.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier.
That could happen.
Where can I put money down? I want to bet Linderbaum. That feels like a Seattle pick. They just brought back Rashad Penny. Their O-line's been bad forever. What do we do that's outside the box and weird? Take Tyler Linderbaum and pound Rashad Penny.
And you know what? It's a better pick than Jordan Brooks.
It's a great pick.
It would be a fine pick. I'd be in on it.
It'd be a great pick for me. It would be
great for us. I think all of us. Everyone else would be like, "What the hell are you doing?" And we're like, "Oh, this is awesome. This is a great."
Yeah, this is great. Seattle fans would message me like, "What are we doing?" And I'm like, "You guys drafted a superstar. That's what you're doing."
Yeah, they got a great player. Where does Jason Kelce go in this draft? If he's in the draft, right now.
He'd be high. Again, I posted a TikTok of where would you take Creed Humphrey, knowing what you know now, and a lot of people were saying top 3, and I was like, then why the hell was Tyler Linderbaum at 25?
What are we doing?
Maybe not top 3, then, but
still,
I'd take him top 10, not top.
Yeah, 3. I would take him top 10. I don't know.
You're guaranteed getting a superstar.
Again, the Eagles' offense did not throw the ball down. The average air yards per attempt was 4.5. They did not throw the ball downfield. It was a run-based offense. And Jalen Hurts, good running quarterback. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not creating all on his own. They need the O-line to work. Tackles were good. But so much of what they did was based around the fact that Jason Kelce was just an absolute stud this year pulling. Unreal. That guy made their run game this year. And I know we don't love the value of centers and whatever, but I do think there's some credence now to the fact that if you're positionally, unless you're running back, if you're a lower positional value and you can outplay your positional value if you're an unreal player,
Agreed.
Like a Parsons, it doesn't matter.
Do you think Commanders at 11 is a realistic place, or do you think it's just not in the cards for them?
For Linderbaum?
Linderbaum.
No, because Chase really is a top 5 center.
Yeah, I forgot what Chase earlier. Good point.
And they're paying him $10 million a year.
Good shout. That's on me. All right, actually, there's
rated an 85 this year.
Their
O-line went downhill once he got hurt.
All right, Philly Eagles season actually has a couple that I kind of like. See, he's first one. Speaking of positional value, Matt Araiza will be a top 100 pick in the draft. Absolutely freaking not. He might actually.
He might.
He might be. Come on, Max. He might be.
If you do. I know Theo Ash, who we love Theo. He's a big Matt Araiza guy.
Well, yeah, shout out Theo.
He said he'd take him in the third round. Dude,
you know where I think he could go though, and I really wouldn't be shocked. Johnny Hecker just left the Rams, and that pick 104, I could totally see them taking Johnny Hecker and play this on draft night when it happens, because I so see that they just do not give a crap.
They don't give a crap. They don't care. They don't care. Makes more of an impact than Tutu Atwell. I'll say that much.
Yeah,
Nick, why would you say that, dude? It's gonna happen now. It's gonna happen.
It just makes way too much sense.
The punter from San Diego State, obviously, we're talking
about. And everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, the Rams are geniuses! They trade all their picks, and now they got the best punter." And we're gonna be like, "All right, great."
There's some actually,
that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Decent punters in this class. I like Jordan Stout from Penn State, obviously homer pick, but Ryan Stonehouse from Colorado State is great too. There's some good punters in this class. I do have punter takes. We all have punter takes. That's how freaking insane we are.
We are madmen.
Look,
yeah.
Can I be honest with you? The technique for kicking is the same for almost every player. I don't scout punters and kickers. I just I don't care.
Yeah,
I really
People are like, "Oh, Matt Araiza can kick too." Oh, he's not gonna be a kicker in the NFL.
I could go find you. Oh, this could get taken wrong. I could go find you in the USA Rugby circuit a bunch of kids who could punt and kick. I think that just aren't quite frankly. I don't like to be that guy. I
punted in high school.
You know how a lot of people are like, I could probably place kick. I think there's a lot of people who could probably place kick.
I was a punter, and I was a punter. I played punter in middle school and then not really high school, because the person who took over their spot was actually the best punter at a camp in the entire Midwest. So
wow.
That's unfortunate, but yeah, punting's fun and it's easy. So Matt Araiza, dude, that thought of the Rams, oh my, it just
where would you realistically take him? I'd say 5th round, right?
I take him 5th. I would take him 5th.
I wouldn't be angry if late 4th.
I would.
But day 2 pick is that's where we're getting.
He's day 3. And to further emphasize that point, just remember that PFT commenters straight from the couch walked into a live action scenario and was nailing 35-yard field goals. Yes, there's a big difference between that and 55-yard field goals, but just know that that's it happened.
I have a friend, Nick.
The skill sets it exists. There's a lot of people who can do this.
I have a friend from college, Nick knows him, who you know how some people are like, "Oh, my son's gonna grow up and be a quarterback." He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna train my son to be a kicker." From the second, he's like, because who the hell is training to be a kicker from their son being born? I got a guaranteed NFL player if I do that.
Respect. I respect that.
All right, last one, Philly Eagles season. We're featuring him a lot, but I like this one a lot. Nakobe Dean will change the linebacker position and will make it adapt to the current NFL. Nick, what do you think about that?
I agree. It could happen.
It could happen. I don't know. I could see him.
I'm higher on Kobe than you guys.
If he's sick,
I have him as a top 10 player.
If he's sick, because I think it is a lot of it right now is being he's too short. If he's sick, I just feel like a lot of people will be like, I don't care about height. Kind of the quarterback thing with Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson. That's it.
I just think that the NFL's filled with curmudgeonly old people who just don't change their minds. That's the issue.
If he goes to New England, I agree, because he will be awesome in New England. He will be fantastic in New England.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. Okay, let's keep going here. I'm trying to find another one. Ritter from Football Talk. Ritter QB1, great athleticism and high football IQ. All you need to be QB1 in this week class.
I mean, Theo agrees. I don't, but Theo
I'm not
agrees.
Gonna hate on the Ritter QB1 takes. The QBs we've talked at length.
As long as you don't have strong QB1, I'm cool with it. Honestly,
whatever. Have fun with it.
Let's see. We've got a few more. I'm trying to find some more right here. Yeah, the Ritter QB1, I understand. He's one of the most pro ready, so I could see that, but I don't know. Hutchinson.
Yeah, athleticism is better than what I thought too.
Xavier McKinney, 29. Not the Xavier McKinney, unfortunately. He's got better things to do in the comment on our TikTok. But this fan of Xavier McKinney said Hutchinson will surpass Joey Bosa in year 2.
Possible.
I think it's possible. I think it's a real shot. I don't think he's a better prospect than Joey, and Joey's obviously a phenomenal player.
I think he is, but I know I'm on an island with that.
Yeah, it's close. Him and Joey. It's not
him
close
and Joey
to
are close, but Nick is over both.
Yeah, Nick is over both, but him and Joey are close. I'll give the slight edge to Joey, just because Joey's a true junior coming out, and he was almost.
And that's fair. That is fair.
The Saints from NFL Clips 36. This is one I think might actually happen. The Saints will trade up for Malik Willis.
It's either going to be if Malik Willis does not go number 2 overall, it's either going to be the Saints or it's going to be the Steelers.
So there's two things here that I think are interesting. One was that the reason they made this trade was to get over the Chargers because they want to draft a tackle because they need to replace Terron Armstead. The other thing that I've heard / read is that they want a quick distributor, and that is leading people to think that they are either liking Kenny Pickett a lot or Matt Corral a lot. I don't know what the Saints are going to do, quite frankly. If they trade up for a QB, I think like all bets are like I don't. It's not going to be Carson Strong, I guess, but like it could be any of the 5 as far as I'm concerned. I would not like. I think that most of the teams at the top, we can kind of like label a quarterback. Panthers, like we think they're going to take Kenny Pickett. Like if the Lions take one, it's going to be Malik Willis. You know, if the Falcons take one, I think it's probably going to be Malik Willis. If the Steelers trade up for one, it's going to be Malik Willis. You know, the Saints trading up, I really do not. We will be sitting there on draft night, and not only will I not know, I won't be certain if it's a QB either. It could just be like, oh, they're going to get James. You remember last year they tried to trade all the way up for J.C. Horn. Like they do this. Like this is their thing.
Davenport, right? Didn't they trade a lot for Davenport?
They traded a future first from Marcus Davenport.
Yeah.
This team just does this over and over. Like they could go and send future first for Jamison Williams, and I'd just be like, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
All right, I'm trying to find some others here because these are pretty fun. Elite Sports said Kenny Pickett is closer to undraftable than being a first-round quarterback. Don't agree with that because I think he's a second-round quarterback. So that's by that logic.
There's some real Kenny Pickett hate out there.
People don't like Pickett as much as they did back in like November.
The roller coaster for these prospects is pretty interesting to look at. I like this one a lot. So Thomas Ramson, who's been a fan forever, love Thomas. He says, I don't think any of the top receivers will be a true wide receiver 1 when their rookie contract ends. So he thinks all these guys are secondary or tertiary options.
I disagree. Garrett Wilson's too good. Garrett Wilson just fits the mold of a wide receiver 1. Like it's just yes, he's smaller-ish, but he has the tape. He has the route running. He has the he's got it. Like I think he's a 1. There may not be as many 1s as, and I think we may all agree on this. There may not be as many 1s as we think. I do believe Garrett Wilson will be a 1.
If Drake London hits, he's a 1.
Yeah. Yes. If Burks hits, he's a 1.
If Burks hits,
Jameson hits, he's a 1. If Vlad. Yeah, my problem with that. If
Watson hits, if Pickens hits, both of them are 1s.
Yeah, my problem with that. So I think there's a clear like 8, I would say, or 7, that I would say if they hit, they're a 1. So my problem with that is saying like, okay, those 7 all will not hit.
It's just you're not gonna have drafts where you don't get wide receiver 1s. It just doesn't happen anymore. There's too much wide receiver talent.
Maybe not as many hit.
Yeah, I mean, well, this draft is not very good, so.
That's true. Enough. All right, let's do a couple more. One of them says from Eve says Kyle Hamilton would be the biggest steal since Antonio Brown, even if he goes 4th overall. I don't know how that will be like a massive steal enough at 4th overall, but I love the take that he's going to be a massive steal.
I do agree he could be like the Justin Fields type of a steal.
Yeah,
I do agree with that. Like, I think if there's 2 players in this draft who have the potential to be the biggest steals in the draft, it's ironic with the 2 best players in the draft. It's Hamilton and Linderbaum.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I dream about the 11th pick being Hamilton. Which has been so interesting because there really is a discourse on Washington Twitter about not taking Hamilton. Like he's not Mike Renner had a great tweet today. I'm sorry, Max, and I know we just discussed this earlier today, but I got to bring it up. Like he said that the flying 20, the second 20 yards of his 40-yard dash was it 0.03 seconds slower than Lewis Seen's flying 20. So
and
at his
Seen
top
like a
speed,
4.3, right?
like the same speed, or like a 4.37.
Yeah.
So what's the problem? It means his first 20 wasn't as fast. And so someone then commented, all right, well, how often is he going to use 40 yards for his range? And Mike's response to that was, how often are you going to run out of a 3-point stance from safety? You're never going to do it. So again, like we really, if we're doing this, he's not a top 20 player based off his 40 time, then we're not doing this right. Like I will be ecstatic if he's there at 11 and Washington takes him, and I still believe he's the best safety since Sean Taylor. And he's number 2 on my board.
That is so funny. That was really funny.
Oh, yeah, man. I completely agree with that. Mike also, we're going to end the video on this because I thought Mike had a great theory to actually post it on TikTok. It's actually doing pretty well. So thank you, Mike, for that. I shouted out Mike and Austin. Obviously, I can steal their theory without shouting them out. But Mike's theory was that Trayvon Walker at 1 has serious legs because not only the athleticism, whatever, because Trent Baalke, who, say what you want about him, is the Jaguars GM, and Jim Harbaugh, as we all know, is a Michigan head coach. Well, they worked together. They were colleagues back in the San Francisco days when Trent Baalke was the 49ers GM and Jim Harbaugh was the 49ers head coach. And if you remember all the way back then, it was a disaster at the very end. Like, they had a great 4 years together, and Jim Harbaugh very unceremoniously left the San Francisco 49ers. In fact, in an interview, he said that, like, if you combined all their knowledge, that Jed York, the owner, and Trent Baalke's knowledge, you couldn't even fill up a small balloon, was the exact quote that he said. So they hate each other. Like, not even like, oh, I'm not really a big fan. They despise each other. So the theory that Mike had was Trent Baalke is going to say, I'm taking Trayvon Walker over your golden boy star player Aiden Hutchinson, just as a middle finger to you, because I don't want to. It's interesting, and Peter Schrager.
It's gonna affect him more than it affects Jim Harbaugh.
Honestly, I think Hutchinson and his family probably want to go to Detroit more, and Harbaugh probably wants him to go to Detroit more than he wants because stay in Michigan. But I thought it was interesting because Peter Schrager, who is one of the most connected people, one of the most well-respected people in the industry, he put out a mock draft having Trayvon Walker go first, and what he thinks will happen, because he said he's like, I've had sources saying this is not done yet. Like, this, they have not made up their mind yet, and the fact that this is still a debate makes me think that Trent Baalke is leaning Trayvon Walker, and I don't know. I could see Trent Baalke being the kind of guy who's saying, you know what, Jim, I'm not taking your guy. I'm taking a guy who beat you in the playoff. Yeah. That's how much to spite you.
Well, and if people don't think that NFL workers are just as spiteful and stupid at times as anyone else, then they're wrong. Like, this is very much a thing that happens all the time in the NFL. And it would be a terrible decision, but I would not be shocked at all. In fact, I agree. I actually think now I've started believing as of early this week.
Yeah, like after you told me that, I'm gonna post one more mock draft before the draft, and we will as well. We might do Trayvon Walker at 1. I mean, the theory makes sense.
Are getting better and better.
It makes sense.
If I had gun to my head right now, who do they pick? I say Hutchinson, but every day that passes,
is us predicting. We wouldn't do this. This is what we think is going to happen.
Right. Gun to my head, I say Hutchinson, but every day that passes, I'm less and less sure of that. So
ask us in you'll see. We're going to be posting our final what we think will happen mock draft, and to be honest, I don't know we don't know what we're going to do with that first pick right now.
Where Trayvon Walker goes if he doesn't go 1, honestly, because Kayvon right now is a betting favorite to go 2, which I don't know about that either, but I don't know. This draft's gonna be wild. I can't.
It's gonna be absurd.
I cannot wait. That theory, that's our galaxy brain, tinfoil hat theory, but I think it's a fun theory, and I can see it happening. I can see, Trent Baalke being that spiteful. They hate, I can't underestimate how much they despise each other. Jim Harbaugh said in an interview, I deserve a Medal of Honor for what I had to put up with in San Francisco. He hates Trent Baalke. Wow. I'm very sure Trent Baalke is not a fan of Jim Harbaugh either. So I can see him saying, I'm not taking your golden boy. I don't know. I don't know.
So unprofessional. Like,
no, it's
what do you expect? It's Trent Baalke. He doesn't have a great history.
Dude, I mean, even like from a Harbaugh standpoint, though, like it's just like, come on, guys. Like, you're supposed to be the best of the best here. We're not playing, not fighting on the playground out here. Like,
I agree. It sucks for Aiden, who's like getting hurt. Honestly, not getting. I don't know. I've heard that he wants to go to Detroit, so who knows?
Dude, I would want to go to Detroit.
I would want to go to Detroit too.
I would. They got a good team. They have a better team. They have a better team than Jacksonville.
Dan Campbell will love. We are hearing that like is not the biggest fan of Kayvon Thibodeau. I guarantee you, if they end up taking him anyways, Dan Campbell's going to try with all his might to love Kayvon Thibodeau. Yeah. Like, that's what a professional does.
Yes.
You work with what you have, and you just do the work. Like,
this is just a theory. This isn't a report that came out, but I think it's a very fun theory to think about. So who knows? Trent Baalke very well could not be thinking this at all. He doesn't give a crap, and water under the bridge. But I don't know. If they take Trayvon Walker, I think that would be an interesting storyline of saying, maybe there's something.
It'd be a bad one.
There's somebody there, or maybe he just thinks Trayvon Walker the athleticism. But who knows? But we appreciate the get. This is awesome, guys. Thank you.
Everybody. Yeah, for real. Everybody commenting. We appreciate you guys so much. Like, I know we didn't get to everybody, and we apologize. There were a lot of comments, but just like I said, I promise you, I read your comment. If you posted something on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, I read it all. I read every single one because I wanted to find as many as possible that we could use. So we appreciate you guys so much.
Yes, 1,000%. And this whole draft process has been amazing, and we love all of you guys for staying tuned for all of it. Obviously, a lot of bumps in the road, losing Tate, losing PJ, but we appreciate all of you guys. And I don't know, hopefully this draft's gonna be awesome. We're gonna obviously still continue it to the very end, but this is awesome, and we really appreciate you guys for this. This video is great. So, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at BoomerBuzzDraft. And stay tuned for the live draft show that is coming up. It's going to be an awesome time with Nick and Donnie hosting that. So for Nick, Merriam, and Donny Clemons, I'm Max Chadwick. Have a great night.